Thanks for watching Coral Gables Television. Today on Coral Gables Now, we are all glued to our smartphone, but there's a new ban on texting that may force you to put it down. She's known as the Miami Heat's Lucky Charm, but find out what recent role may launch her to stardom. Plus, big news from City Hall. Coral Gables is a finalist for an international award. We'll have all the details. And the Coral Gables Museum just marked its 3rd anniversary, and they are celebrating with a major exhibit. Now, we took this show on the road. Coral Gables Now from Miracle Theater starts right now. And welcome to Coral Gables Now. I'm Belkis Perez. We are on the set of Ruthless, the musical. It's a production here at Actors Playhouse at Miracle Theater. And cultural amenities like these really help to make our city the most livable they can be. And speaking of livable, we have some very exciting news to share with you. The city is a finalist for a very prestigious award for the most livable city in the world. You heard right. And here to talk to us about it is Cindy Birdsell. She is the director of the Economic Sustainability Department. Thank you, Cindy, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about this award. I heard it's called LivCom.
Yes, they're the LivCom Awards, and what's very exciting about them is they are one of the few awards that are endorsed by the United Nations. So we are being recognized on a global level for being a very livable city. The categories that we have to compete in for this award include the enhancement of the natural and built environment. Obviously, Coral Gables has that, all over the place with our beautiful entrances and the beautiful planning of the city. We have arts and cultural heritage, which again we're very strong in with all of the cultural offerings we have, with the rich cultural heritages that we are sort of a melting pot for, and our proximity to Latin America, the European nature of our architecture. All of that is really some of the things that they saw in us when they made us a finalist. We also have to compete with environmental best practices, community participation, and healthy lifestyle, as well as strategic planning. So the fact that we are in Florida and that we have so many parks and so much ability to go biking and do water sports and running, and our youth center and our senior adult programming, all of that is really telling the great story about how livable Coral Gables is. And
I think you bring up a good point, is the fact that the criteria that we're being judged on is not just on it being a beautiful place, but really, how all those different elements, economic sustainability and our natural landscape, how everything blends together to make this one great location for residents to enjoy. So I think that says a lot too, because some cities might have great, beautiful views, but there's no other component there. So that's awesome.
And the judges are looking for cities on the globe that you would want to go live, where you would like to raise your family, where you'd like to spend your time. If you could choose to be somewhere, where would you choose to be?
Okay. Now we're in a specific category. And it's based on our population, right?
Right. It's a population of 20,000 to 75,000.
And who are we competing against?
Well, there are 13 other cities that are in our category. We're the only U.S. city, which is really an honor.
Yes.
But other cities come from Taipei, Hungary, France, so all over the globe.
Now, what would it mean if we would actually win this?
Well, obviously, it's very prestigious, and we would be being acknowledged by the United Nations. But I think it would also help us tell our story to the world, for tourism, for businesses that want to come here, for people who might want to live here. Lets people know, if they didn't already know about Coral Gables, that this is a wonderful place to be.
All right, thank you, Cindy. We'll have our fingers crossed, hoping that we win this prestigious award. And December 2nd is when the winners will be announced. We'll be right back with more of Coral Gables Now. Welcome back to Coral Gables Now. We traded our old set for the main stage here at Actors Playhouse. This is the set of Ruthless, which just wrapped up production here at the main stage. Soon crews will be removing it and getting to work on one of their biggest performances of the season, and that's the children's classic Madeline's Christmas. It starts November 22nd through December 22nd, and I'm told that kids from all around the county actually come here on a field trip to see Madeline's. So back to the show, it is time for City News, and the city just recently wrapped up working on a green space in the southern part of the city. Rodolfo Roman has that story in City News, and he shows us how it turned out. Rodolfo?
Thanks, Belkis. A park received a facelift and the much-needed pedestrian overpass is now likely. Plus, the reason why we are inside this car is to show you the dangers of texting and driving, which is now prohibited in the state of Florida. Driving down Old Cutler, you may have passed by Tiziano Park and never noticed, but you will now. The city recently completed some renovations at the park that enhance its natural beauty. The park is located on the corner of Old Cutler Road and Tiziano Avenue. It was beautified with ferns, flowering ground cover, new grass, a rock border, and an irrigation system. It's turned into a great neighborhood green space that everyone can enjoy.
I think it's wonderful. I love it. It's give the beautiful to this, make the city look very pretty, very beautiful. I love it. I think it's a great idea. They should do it in more parks around.
The city recently unveiled a new ladder truck. The truck has an aerial platform that can extend out 100 feet in almost any direction. It replaces a 1985 model that had been in service for 28 years. Among its new features, the platform has a control panel to monitor critical information and a video camera. Real-time data and video can be sent wirelessly to a command center on the ground. It also has the capability of pumping water from the platform. Also, crossing US 1 and Mariposa Court will be a lot safer for pedestrians. 3 University of Miami students have been killed attempting to cross this busy street. A pedestrian overpass to prevent further tragedies has been in the works for a while. Thanks to an arrangement with the county, the city is turning over Mariposa Court to the county, facilitating the building of the overpass. Plans are now moving forward for construction.
I think the overpass is an absolutely amazing idea. I think it's something that we've needed on campus for a while to be able to just cross US 1 safely, and it's really going to help the safety of our students in the future.
Speaking of safety, just like technology is making our life easier, it's also making it dangerous. That's why texting and driving became prohibited in the state. 85 crashes were caused by distracted drivers turned fatal in the state from 2010 through 2011, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The law came into effect last month. You can't get pulled over for texting, but the first offense is $30. Well, that's all we have for you for City News. Back to you, Belkis.
All right, thank you, Rodolfo. We'll be right back with more of Coral Gables Now.
Once you see the world through math and science, you'll never see anything the same way again. Go to girlsgotech.org.
You'll see.
Welcome back. Last month marked the 3rd anniversary of the Coral Gables Museum, and in its short existence, the museum has become an important part of the community and its culture. Now, the success of the museum is not confined to just Coral Gables, and proof of that is in its latest exhibition. Joining us to talk about it is Chris Rupp. She is the executive director at the Coral Gables Museum. Thank you, Chris, for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's always nice to be here with you.
So, congratulations, 3 years. We've come a long way, though, since 2010. What did you say?
We have come a very long way. The success of our exhibitions and programs and how the community has embraced us really lets us know that we're doing the right thing, and we couldn't be any happier with our positioning today.
So the purpose of the museum, you know, when you think about it, I think a lot of people would think that it's just confined to Coral Gables, elements or something that's tied to Coral Gables, but not so.
No, well, of course, it's the name, the Coral Gables Museum, so of course that's their inference. So this is something that we've tried to promote since day one, is that our focus is architecture, urban design and planning, sustainable development and preservation, and not just in Coral Gables. So the exhibition that we have now, the Marine Stadium, really sends that message. So it's good on all fronts for us.
Okay, so let's get into that. It's called Concrete Paradise, the Miami Marine Stadium. Now, tell me about the importance of having this exhibit, not even in Miami, no, it's in Coral Gables, and it's such a significant exhibit because there's so much tied to it. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. Well, the way the whole thing got started was that Don Worth, who's the president of the Friends of the Marine Stadium, came to the museum and said, would you be interested in doing an exhibition about the stadium? Because the city of Miami is very close to agreeing that the stadium should be saved, because at one time it was going to be torn down.
Right.
The stadium was built in the 60s, closed in the 90s, and then it's been a haven for graffiti artists, skateboarders, and it's really got that edgy urban feel about it. So we thought it was perfect because it deals with an iconic architectural structure here in Miami-Dade County. It's about preservation, and the architect Hilario Candela is just a joy. So we thought it really hits on all fronts for the museum. So we agreed, and the Friends of the Marine Stadium brought on the National Trust for Historic Preservation as a partner, which is so huge for us.
It gives it national recognition now.
Absolutely, and then we were be able to take advantage of all their national contacts as well. American Express came on as a sponsor of this exhibition, which again speaks volumes about the good things that we're doing at the museum.
So what can people expect when they go to see this exhibit?
Well, it was the exhibition itself was challenging because we have to engage people who may have never been to the Marine Stadium, because it's been closed for so long. I'd never attended a concert there or an event, and so we had to tell the story of the architecture and design. We had to tell the story of what happened there, why it was significant, the social events that took place, and then the artistic inspiration that continues today, and then obviously how it's going to be saved, why it's going to be saved, and what it's going to look like once it's restored. So it's a multimedia exhibition. We have a wonderful video in there. We built bleachers so you can go in and watch a 20-minute video about the stadium. Wow. We have 4 different artists with wonderful presentations. Some of them involve interactivity. And then we have memorabilia, photographs, architectural renderings. So it really tells the complete story of the stadium. It's great.
Now, this is like in momentum for the revitalization, would you say?
That's correct.
Okay. And tell me about other projects that you've got coming up in the pipeline.
Well, we have next week, we're opening an exhibition about the Coral Gables Elementary School. And its history within the city, its architecture and design, of course, but also its significance in the community. And it's going to be a lovely exhibition that runs for 3 months. We also are hosting an exhibition about furniture making and design, and that's very interesting. It's done through the FIU School of Architecture. The exhibition is called Palette Craft, and the students have taken discarded pallets donated from Whole Foods and created these beautiful furniture objects.
Wow.
out of the pallets. And so Whole Foods is a sponsor of that exhibition as well. So
wow, you've got a lot of things coming on. All right, thank you so much, Chris, and congratulations, 3 years. The exhibit Concrete Paradise, the Marine Stadium, Miami Marine Stadium, is going to run, as Chris said, through January 5th. The museum is located at 285 Aragon Avenue, and for more information you can visit the Coral Gables Museum website. That's coralgablesmuseum.org, or you can call them at 305-603-8067. We'll be right back.
Daddy, Why is the sky blue?
Well, to match your pretty eyes.
Nope, not even close. See, all colors have wavelengths that are diffused by oxygen and nitrogen. Since blue is the shortest wavelength, it's diffused up to 10 times more.
Who taught you that?
Mommy?
By age 12, too many girls lose interest in math and science and their chance at future jobs. Keep her interest alive.
Know why mathematics is the basis of life as we know it?
You tell me.
It's her future. Do the math.
LLS-funded research has been a gateway to help all types of cancer patients live longer and better lives.
Every 4 minutes, another man, woman, or child is diagnosed with a blood cancer.
Visit lls.org to give.
Welcome back to Coral Gables Now. If you follow the Miami Heat basketball team, then you know that they have a lucky charm. It's a 12-year-old girl that sings the national anthem at all of their playoff games. Well, now she's a big hit in Coral Gables as well, where she recently had her theatrical debut right here on this stage. Tanya Leeds sat down with the rising star. Take a look.
A new show has taken over our city. Ruthless, the musical. This cynical story revolves around a child diva that will do anything to become a star. Among the talented cast, a face all too familiar.
I'm here at the Actors Playhouse with Julia Dale, who stars as Tina Denmark in the debut of Ruthless. Hi, Julia. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and how did you get started in theater?
Well, ever since I was young, I really loved musicals. I would watch them all the time when I was 2 years old, and I think I've always really had an interest in it, so anything that I can do to do what I love and perform, I try to do as much as possible.
Tell me about your role of Tina Denmark. Who is she?
Tina Denmark is definitely a diva. She's ruthless, and she'll do anything to get to the top. She's very determined, she knows who she is, and I think that's a really fun character to play.
In putting the cast together, artistic director David Orisco wanted to project a parody of the not-so-glamorous aspects of stardom.
It's done to kind of just have fun with show business and how crazy it is and how nuts we are to do it and how crazy we are to want to have our children do it. And then in this particular instance, the child is just as crazy as the adults. So there you have Ruthless.
Although you would think portraying a child would be easy for Julia, being that she herself is a youngster and has been exposed on national TV, the role of Tina Denmark has its obstacles.
What would you say were some of the challenges you had to prepare for this role?
Well, definitely to become as ruthless as Tina Denmark really is. Just reading the script, I could tell how much of a diva she really is and what she will do to get to the top. And I think getting into that place of how determined she will be and what she'll do to get there, I think that was the hardest challenge. But I have great people working with me to help me, so I was really lucky to have that. And I think that it's challenging, but I think it's fun at the same time because I don't think I'll ever get to do something like this again. So but she does it in the funniest way, so you'll have a great time.
But for this singing sensation, she was a natural on stage. She wowed the audience with her theatrical debut, just like she's left her mark performing the national anthem during the Miami Heat NBA Finals these last 3 years.
So proudly we hail. So you're also known as the lucky charm for the Miami Heat. How do you feel that it's opened more opportunities for you?
I feel really lucky because having that, I feel like I can do what I love, and I don't think a lot of kids get to experience doing what they love all the time. So I think I'm really lucky to have that, and I'm so fortunate to be able to have that opportunity. It's such a fun experience for me, but it also helps through everything, and I just really appreciate it.
Over the years, the Miracle Theater in our city has showcased an extraordinary repertoire of talent. Ruthless, the musical, is just another one in the books. For Coral Gables Now, this has been Tanya Leeds. Back to you, Belkis.
All right, thanks, Tanya. We'll be right back with more of Coral Gables Now.
To the list of places you might find sexual predators, add this one. Last year, 1 in 5 children was sexually solicited online. To learn what you can do to protect your kids' online life, visit cybertipline.com. Help delete online predators.
Take a pop quiz with me. In what film did I feel a need for speed? What was my call sign? Who did I sit behind in the F-14? Oh, and one more question. Who does your kid sit behind in homeroom?
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school and know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
Welcome back to Coral Gables Now. If you just tuned in, we are at Miracle Theater in the heart of downtown, and this is the set of Ruthless, the musical. We are at Actors Playhouse. Next production here will be Madeline's Christmas. You know, November is also a busy month for our next guest. The Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce will start the month with a burger festival and end it with a huge small business promotion. Joining us to talk about that is Mark Trowbridge. He is the CEO and president of the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Mark, for being here.
Thanks for the invitation.
Do you like our new set?
I love being here, and I love being at Actors Playhouse. What a great venue for Coral Gables.
It is, it is. So let's start by talking about Burgerlicious. It's a great event. It's at the beginning of November, but tell me about the goal of it.
Sure. So it's Thursday, November 7th, so it's right at the beginning of the month. We'll have about 25 of our local restaurants featured there. And really, when we started this event a little more than 3 years ago, that was the goal, was to really showcase our restaurants. Many of them were struggling during the economic recession, and so this was a way to really engage them, give them a high-profile opportunity, and bring folks in from outside of Coral Gables to really get to know our dining community.
Right, and we were talking about that before we started the show, which is you really don't think of burgers when you think of Coral Gables.
You don't. You might think of more fine dining or higher-end dining, but almost every restaurant we have here has an amazing burger on it, and that night, November 7th, you'll see them all on full display.
It is awesome. I've been there. I love it. If you can't make it out, what do you say to those people?
Well, what I tell them is if you're catching this later in the month, go and visit the restaurants in the Gables community, not just for burgers, but for the great food that they do and the great service they provide. We are a true dining destination with over 160 restaurants. There's something for everybody.
There is. Now, you're also going to be taking a tour of the Port of Miami. Tell me about how Coral Gables fits into that.
Sure. So Port Miami is a great partner of ours. I think a lot of folks may not realize that the Coral Gables business community depends heavily upon the success of the port. We're not obviously, you know, on the water-based side of the Port of Miami, but so many of the multinationals that are here and the businesses that are here do business through the port and the airport. So we're going to partner with our fellow chambers and do a tour that let folks see the port dredge that's upcoming, see where we're nearing the end of the completion of the tunnel, which will be May of 2014, on port rail, and some new gantry cranes that have arrived that'll be serving these large post-Panamax ships that'll be coming through the canal as early as 2015.
What impact is that going to have on Coral Gables?
I think tremendous. Think about it. We have about 140 multinationals here. Many of them do business, they do trade, and the port is going to be that you know, singular port of entry for them. And we want it to be that port of entry because there are many deep water ports available, but we're going to be the one closest to Panama.
And I think that would spur more economic growth for us and more jobs as well.
Absolutely. There's no greater hub. And think about where Coral Gables is located. We're just a few miles from the airport. And that's really how we've sold ourselves for the last 30 or 40 years, especially to the multinationals.
So we also have the Diamond Awards, which are taking place. Tell me about the criteria for that.
Sure. So this is our signature award program. We do this every year. We have 10 categories that companies can compete in. So right now, the judges are reviewing those. But on the 14th, we'll unveil that. And it's everything from small and large businesses that get honored, retailers, restaurants, multinationals, minority-owned business, nonprofits. We run the gamut. And it's a great event. It's really a celebration of all that shines and sparkles in our business community here in Coral Gables. So that's on the 14th of November.
Okay. And we end the month with Small Business Saturday, and that's a partnership with American Express.
It is. We were very fortunate about 4 years ago. American Express began this program nationwide and reached out to Coral Gables and the Chamber and said, we need a partner to really showcase that. We wrote a proposal. They liked it so much, it's really become kind of the gold standard for other chambers across the community. So we love working with American Express. They really want to make that day, November 30th, all about small business. Nothing speaks to Coral Gables more than that type of, you know, the mom and pops that have been the backbone of our community. Think about it. The people who own those businesses, they're our neighbors, they're our friends. We need to support them. Now you're hearing in the media that, you know, Big Box is going to be open on Thanksgiving and on Black Friday. So the small businesses really need a little extra love on that day.
So what can people expect if they're going to head out on that day?
Well, I hope that they're going to come to Coral Gables and also shop in their own neighborhoods if that is someplace else. We'll have probably about 100 stores that participate. We're going to kick off that morning at 10 a.m. at Manteca Jewelry on the Mile. And I think our goal is to really create some energy around the day and get folks to come early and stay, have lunch, shop, enjoy the many different offerings and stores that we have here, not only downtown, but at the Village of Merrick Park, and support the small businesses. They need the attention. They don't have the big budgets to do the advertising and television that you see the other big boxes do. So it's really important. We are so honored that American Express continues to be our partner and that our retailers really step forward and participate widely in that event.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks.
All right. And so if you want more information on that Saturday, that Small Business Saturday, you can go to their website, coralgableschamber.org. It's November 30th. And like Mark said, you kick off the event at 10 a.m. at Manteca Jewelry. We'll be right back with more of Coral Gables Now.
Hey, kid, what's shaking? Besides me.
Dad, there's something wrong with the fridge.
What? Ooh, a snack.
Got energy hogs in your house? Now you have the power to do something about them. Log on to energyhog.org. Because nobody likes an energy hog.
Hey, they got Charlie! Eh, who cares?
I heard about this company dumping toxins in local rivers, and I called their executives to say stop. But they were too busy counting profits while the rivers are being destroyed, birds and fish are dying, and the local kids are getting cancer. So I organized a huge protest, and we actually got the company shut down. But now half the town's unemployed, and the kids are twice as sick since they can't get health care, since their parents lost the insurance they had when they worked for the company who dumped all the toxins in the first place.
Welcome back. The third annual Bike Day was a great hit in Coral Gables this year. The entire length of Miracle Mile was shut down. There was a bike tour, an antique bike show, and so much more. But if you missed it, don't worry. We've got a recap specially for you. Take a look. And that does it for this edition of Coral Gables Now. Thanks for watching Coral Gables Television. A big thank you to Actors Playhouse for having us on their main stage. Don't forget to like us on YouTube. That's youtube.com/Coral Gables TV or on coralgables.com/Coral Gables TV. We hope you have a great Thanksgiving and we'll see you next month. Take care.